As well ever be.
You're good.
Okay.
The meeting is yours.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, folks. Certainly want to welcome everyone to the Benton Town Council meeting for this Tuesday evening, October 17th. I'll ask you to stand in just a second for our Pledge of Allegiance, and I think Councilmember Mullins going to do that tonight.
Yes,
right?
sir.
All right. And while we're standing, we'll have our moment of silence. I'll be praying in the tradition of my faith. I invite you to do the same, to pray in the tradition of your faith. If you do, please keep this country and this community and this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers. And then tonight we might especially want to add the situation in the Mideast, or Israel and Gaza, all that good terrible situation over there. So if you'll keep that in your thoughts and prayers too. If we'll stand for that, please.
Please face the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation
Under
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, folks. And again, welcome. Good to see some bodies here this evening. It's always good. So, Councilmember McCarty, you got some community events going on?
I do. On October the 26th, we'll have our Benton trick-or-treating downtown from 3 to 5 p.m. Bring your children dressed and walk throughout the downtown Benton to trick-or-treat with the local businesses, handing out candy. And thank you to all the participating businesses for that. November the 30th, the Benton Chamber Christmas Parade, tree lighting at 6 p.m., parade kickoff at the Benton War Memorial. To register, then you can go to Angie at bentonchamber.org to register for that. We also encourage you to go on to our many local businesses and restaurants' websites to check out what they have going on, such as Rosie's, Lancerlot, Twin Creeks, Benton Bowling, Defy Gravity, and lots more. More information, of course, can be found on each of the venues' website and social media. And for information on anything happening in Benton, please visit the In Benton Facebook page, and don't forget to like and share. I guess I'll wait for the rest of it.
Okay.
I'll wait. Yep.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Councilmember Mullins, I guess you got a few things for us this evening?
Yes, sir. Some council activities since we've met, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Yeah. October 5th, I attended RVTV committee, which I love, by the way. October 7th through 10th, Vice Mayor Stovall attended the Virginia Municipal League Conference. And you love that too, right?
I did.
Good.
Yes, ma'am.
October 11th, Councilmember McCarty attended the Community Development Committee meeting.
And I love that.
There's a theme. All right, y'all two get ready. And then on October 16th, Mayor Gross and Vice Mayor Stovall attended the Finance Committee meeting.
That was okay.
How you and Andrew with it?
It was good news. Thank you, man.
Sorry, can we back up for 1 second? I did forget one, and I wanted to announce it because we're gonna be doing the parade of trees for another year at for the Benton businesses, and this will be on the lawn of the sidewalk area of the Benton War Memorial. So we do encourage all the local businesses to consider having a tree this year. Santa will be joining on December the 2nd, 6th, 10th, and 20th at different times. For more information, you can contact cbarber@bentonva.gov. That's Chastity. And we'd love to be able to fill up the front of the War Memorial with lots of beautiful trees this year. And there's other opportunities to to sponsor if you don't wish to do a tree. So get in touch with Chastity because we really want to make that a big event this year. And I know I'm saying something about Christmas before Halloween gets here, but Christmas will be here after we blink from Halloween. So get ready.
Right. You're right.
Sorry about that interruption.
No problem at all. I'm glad you decided to include that. It's very important. All right, next item is request to postpone or change the order of the agenda. None? Okay. With that, we'll move to the consent agenda, and tonight it contains the minutes of the regular meeting of October 3rd, 2023. Any changes or additions? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember McCarty, second by Councilmember Mullins. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, moving right along. And now we get to the good part of the meeting, and that's our awards and introductions. Vice Mayor, I understand you have a proclamation for us this
I
evening.
do, Mr. Mayor. This proclamation is very lengthy, as you can tell. So I'm just going to hit the highlights of it and let everybody know what it's all about.
Good idea.
Whereas United Way of the Roanoke Valley was founded as a community fund in 1924, uniting businesses and community leaders who understood that a thriving economy is linked to the well-being of its citizens. And whereas through its impactful history, United Way has successfully generated over 232 million funding programs and partnerships that have enriched the lives of residents across Roanoke, Salem, Benton, and the counties of Botetourt, Craig, Roanoke, and Franklin. And whereas the United Way of the Roanoke Valley is marking its centennial anniversary from October 2023 to October 2024 with the campaign A Century of Impact, United for a Stronger Future. A moment for the organization to envision its future impact and set its course for the next century. Now, therefore, I, Bradley Gross, the town of Benton, on behalf of Town Council and all of its citizens, do hereby extend our heartfelt recognition and recommendation to the United Ways of Roanoke Valley on its 100th anniversary. We salute its enduring commitment to the enhancing lives, fostering community, and creating a legacy of positive change that benefits all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. That is an important
Anybody would like to read the rest of it, I'll be happy to give it to you.
important proclamation, but I like the way you summarized it. Yeah, it's available for public viewing, right? All right, citizen comments and petitions. Anyone have anything other than what's on the agenda? Nope. All right, so I guess we are here. Oh, gosh, I guess I better back up. Thank you.
The good
Chief
part.
Drummond,
The
I
really good part.
apologize. I'm moving right along here. Thank
The really
you,
good
ma'am.
part.
Yeah, the really good fun. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, town staff. Today, I have the privilege of introducing two officers, actually changed that. Two other officers are going to introduce our two new officers. And I'm completely blessed to be able to be up here and say that we have two more awesome officers joining the core of our team. So with that, I ask Officer Andrew Hagee to come up.
Get you to come up here too.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of council. I am Officer Andrew Hagee, and I have the privilege to come up here and introduce the new addition to our team. I'm especially grateful because this is someone who I call a friend and someone who has helped me grow my career in law enforcement. Sean McKittrick.
And Camilla.
Camilla.
Oh.
Hey,
So next to me, of course, is Officer Sean McKittrick and his daughter Camilla. Officer McKittrick was born in San Marcelo, Philippines. Officer McKittrick now, of course, calls the Roanoke Valley home. Officer McKittrick has one daughter, Camilla, who is the center of his universe. Before joining the Benton Police Department, Officer Sean McKittrick was part of the Roanoke City Police Department, and he served there for 10 years. Officer McKittrick is a graduate of the Stanton River High School, graduate of Roanoke City Police Academy, and attends college courses at Virginia Western Community College. Officer McKittrick is very passionate and has earned the reputation of being an excellent trainer, specifically field training officer, which I know personally. So, many officers who has been in Officer McKittrick's life consider him quite humble, a great friend, and exceptional father. Officer McKittrick is a veteran of the United States Navy, where he obtained the rank of Petty Officer, 3rd class. Then Petty Officer McKittrick served as the 9780 Service Supply Handler. Petty Officer 3rd Class McKittrick is a recipient of the National Defense Service Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, to name a few. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of council, Officer Sean McKittrick.
All right.
Welcome aboard. It's good.
Oh, sweet girl. Welcome aboard. I'm a Stanton River Eagle too.
Hello, Camilla. You're beautiful. Welcome.
Well, pretty cool.
Look, I just have to wear my Stanton River colors.
I love your coat.
Like I had mentioned, extremely blessed to have Sean within our ranks. You know, I had the opportunity and he,
Get a picture of them.
oh, take a picture first.
Yeah. Do you want?
You want her in it? In the middle?
Oh,
See if you want Andrew up there too.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Andrew as well.
Yes. Andrew, come on up.
I'm like up here directing. Who's going to get in the picture?
Yeah, I had the privilege of meeting Sean 10 years ago when he was beginning his law enforcement career, where I guess I had messed up and he went to a different agency and I had an opportunity to recruit him and he reminded me of that. But nevertheless, he's here now. We fixed the problem and I'm extremely blessed to have him here. And of course, Camilla as well. Thank you. I appreciate it. The second officer that we'll introduce to you, I'll call Lieutenant Scott Hurd up here.
he's no new guy.
We know him.
That's
No
what,
shave November. Speak.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, and town staff. This evening, I get to introduce to you another member of our growing team, Officer Douglas Awney Jr. Officer Awney Jr. was born in Trenton, Michigan, and he served most of his very young adult life in the United States Armed Forces. Officer Awney Jr. enlisted in the United States Air Force in August of 2003 and completed a 20-year career just recently in 2023. Officer Awney Jr. achieved the rank of E7. He held the primary specialty of cryptologic analyst and reporter. In his 20-year career, Officer Awney Jr. was stationed in various capacities, such as the Surveillance and Warning Center Supervisor of the 324th Intelligence Squadron at Hickman Air Force Base, Hawaii. He also served as the National Security Agency representative to the National Military Command Center, the Pentagon. He served as the Planning, Exercise, and Training Manager of the Joint Special Operations Command for the Department of Defense, the Department Chief for the 497th Operations Support Squadron, Langley Air Force Base. Lost my place. And the Training and Tactics Subject Matter expert for the 480th Intelligence, Surveillance, and Cognizance Wing, Langley Air Force Base. Officer Awney Jr. finished his already impressive career as a Deputy Senior Enlisted Advisor and Section Chief, Joint Chiefs of Staff, Pentagon. In addition, Officer Awney Jr. also served as a search and rescue firefighter for the Abingdon Volunteer Fire and Rescue and served the Gloucester County Sheriff's Office as a Deputy Sheriff. Officer Ani Jr. is a graduate of the Community College of the Air Force, where he obtained an associate's in Communications Applications Technology, and also attended Ashford University, where he obtained a bachelor's in Social and Criminal Justice. Officer Ani Jr. is also a certified canine handler with an emphasis on explosives, firearms, tracking, training, and patrol. Officer Ani Jr. is very passionate about this certification and very proud of his canine, Demi. Officer Ani Jr. is married to his wife, Amy, and together they have 3 children, Douglas III, Christian, and Lillian. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Officer Douglas Ani Jr.
All right.
Okay.
Welcome aboard. Glad you're here.
Welcome to the Vinton family.
Congratulations. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome forward. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, ma'am.
Picture of both of them? You do it out there or do you? Okay.
He's come up.
There's never an absence of humor, but in all honesty, it's really hard to believe that someone could cram in so many certifications, so many experiences in the United States military, get a degree, get an advanced degree, have a wife, have 3 kids, serve a fire department, and it's Gloucester Sheriff's Office. It's pretty incredible. You're an asset to the team, buddy.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Well, we certainly want to welcome both of these officers. Obviously, we're not just increasing in numbers, but some really quality folks that you've gotten.
Thank you.
You've recruited or whatever the proper word is. And I'm just really impressed, very impressed by our entire department. And these 2 fine gentlemen are certainly a great addition. And I'm glad your daughter's here too, by the way. So thank you, folks. And we certainly want to welcome you to the town event. We look forward to working with you. Mike, you guys got anything to say? This is a former police officer.
Yeah,
here.
just, it's always nice to get good quality people to your department, especially when you got coming from the military and of course coming from another police department and want to come here and work. And I can tell you from everything that I've seen with this department, it's a top-notch department. And it's run well. It's managed well, but most of all, it's professionally one of the best I've seen around. And not only do I hear that, not only I see that, but I hear that from other departments and other friends of mine that I have that work for other departments. So congratulations and welcome aboard.
Is there anyone else?
We're excited to have you. Thank you. And you're joining a good-looking group that works hard and is led by one of the best. So thank you.
Yeah, welcome aboard. I'm glad to have you. And I think it's, I said, welcome to the Vinton family because that's what we are. We're a family. We're not just a town or town council or staff members. We all care about each other here, and we're glad that you're here with us. And I think it does show that when you have somebody that is already on our police department that is referring other people to come here, that's a great asset to have somebody refer and speak so highly of where you are with the town. So thank you.
Yes. Yes, thank you folks a lot. We're really excited about you being here. Way to go, Chief.
Thank you, sir. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
You bet. All right, and I think we touched on the citizen comments and petitions once again. So we will move on to the briefings, and Chief, you're up again.
Back up.
Yep, back up.
Turn it on. Okay, I got it. Got it, okay. Good evening once again, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, and town staff. I'm here to present the first quarter report, July to September of this beginning fiscal year. And of course, this is a really wide snapshot of department and what we do as a function as a department. It's a 30,000 foot view of what we're accomplishing over there. So it's a very brief explanation. Of course, I'll always be able to entertain any questions we may have. The first slide you will see is statistics, criminal activity statistics, but it goes beyond that. It's for calls for service, traffic stops, traffic summonses, drug cases, overall criminal arrests and DUI. And of course, we capture it for the months of July, August, and September. We tend to average 1,400 calls per month, as far as general calls for service. That's a catch-all for every call that the police department gets. So 1432 for July, 1455 for August, and a lower end of 1274 for the month of September. Same indicative stats for traffic stops as well, where we capture every traffic stop. That doesn't mean that it was actionable with a traffic summons, but we're reporting how many vehicles were stopped for that particular month. In this case was 360, 328, and 303 for the month of September. In lieu of that, in comparison, you have your traffic stops, summonses for the 3 months, which was 238, 234, 155. Drug cases, 5, 6, and 3. And overall criminal arrests were 31 for July, 40 for August, 45 for September. DUI, and continue on with DUIs, were 3, 2, and 2 for that first quarter. I know that was a very quick briefing. Anytime there's questions, please let me know. To capture the highlights from quarter one, the total call for services for the 3 months. So for 3 months, the officers responded for a total of 4,161 calls for service. Total reports written were 342. So those are formal investigative reports that are written within the police department, with a total of 991 traffic stops, and 627 of those resulted in summonses. Our traffic accidents were 104 in total, drug cases 14, and a total of 735 security checks. And what security checks are vacation watches, is us checking the schools, the businesses. We do have components where a resident can email us or fill out a form on the Town of Vincent website for us to do a security check while they're on vacation. Everything is secured and private, but the officers will make the time to check on the property or a business, and that's typically done at 2, 3 a.m. when we're all blessed to be asleep. So a total of 735 of those. Criminal Investigations Division. During the first quarter, the CID, Criminal Investigations Division, have received 15 felony cases. Many of the cases that they inherit are transfers from the Patrol Division or called directly through an external department. So 15 felony criminal cases are currently being investigated. 7 cases are under investigation. 3 of those cases have pending results from the forensic lab, which we send we send it to Richmond, and then we kind of sit and wait for the results. And we're also waiting on indictments from the Roanoke County Commonwealth Attorney's Office. 1 case of those has been cleared, and 4 of those are inactive, meaning there wasn't enough there to find a prosecution. 2 pieces of evidentiary items were submitted for the Department of Forensics, and a total of 6 search warrants and 1 court order and 1 subpoena duces tecum was obtained during this first quarter report. Our animal control statistics, animal ordinances, a total of 37 calls for service for animal ordinances. 1 was an attack animal. 2 of those resulted in an attack of a person. 10 barking dog calls, 0. I know bear sightings are a thing right now, but we had 0 for this particular reporting period. 33 wildlife calls, 17 of those resulted in cruelty. Dead animal on the road were 3, dog at large 25, injury sick 9, livestock 4, neglect 3, snakes 3, strays 19. We set up 0 traps, and code enforcement were 9. So animal control is sort of a catch-all for both wildlife and domesticated animals, whereas wildlife, we'll tend to direct them to Virginia Wildlife Services. It all depends on what we can handle. We try to handle things, but once it gets to a certain extent, or depending on the animal, we'll refer them out, because at the end of the day, we do share the planet with a lot of things. Records management, which is a huge component in law enforcement, sort of the brain housing group of any law enforcement agency, is our records management department that entered a total of 285 warrants. So warrants that needed to be served, 285 of those were entered into our system. VSIN validations are 56, which are requirements in any police department to validate things through the Virginia Criminal Information Network. Summonses entered mirror how many summonses were turned in during the quarter, which was a total of 627. Weapons permits checks, those that we received through the courts, are those applying for a weapons permit. All we do is check criminal history and send it back. We're not the deciding factor, the courts are. All we're doing is validating and checking the criminal history. Merge reports are officers' reports that have to go through supervisors. And then finally hitting records management, where they will validate the report, make sure all the fields are appropriate, make sure everything is in logical sequence, and then it gets merged into a system where it will essentially live forever. So that was done 462 times. FOIA requests, as you know, is Freedom of Information Act. We received a total of 121 articles of FOIA where we responded to. Officer subpoenas are 108. Officer subpoenas are those subpoenas that officers are to appear in court. And criminal histories checked are 38 of them. Events. For the month of July, of course, we kicked it off with the Town of Vinton sponsored events of 4 on the 4th, where they had the 4-mile race. In conjunction with that, prior to that, members of the Vinton Police Department, and I think it's the center picture. I know it's tough to see, but we participated in Beast Lake 5K, an obstacle course in Smith Mountain Lake in the Manita area, where myself and some staff ran a 5K. Within that 5K, there were a bunch of obstacle courses. It was just a really good time.
Yeah.
We, of course, participated on the 4 and the 4th race, where Ms. Barbara gave me the privilege of leading the race for 3 seconds. But there's a picture memorializing it, me in first place.
Yeah. Wow. Did you get a trophy for that?
No, I didn't. I casually fell back in the back of the pack where I belong. After the race, of course, officers worked the 4th of July celebrations. So the 4th of July is sort of an all hands on deck for the Vinton Police Department because of the events. DMV traffic enforcement is always continuous for us every day. That's done through the Department of Motor Vehicles, where we get funding from them for traffic enforcement, where we can deploy officers where we need. We, of course, provide the security for the Mingles at the market. CTAC is a service that we provide at Lewis Gale Hospital for those patients that are part of an emergency custody order, where officers will be paid overtime, where an officer can bring a patient to Lewis Gale, and that officer sitting at CTAC will sit with the patient versus us losing a patrol officer. So that officer returns to the town. CTAC pays for the officer to sit with the patient. That's been a long time coming, so it's a very good program for our patrol division. Officer Holland participated in Climb in a Cop Car at the Vinton Farmers Market, where he did tie-dye shirts and exposed children to our gear and equipment. We also did a summer reading program at the Vinton Library in July, where we naturally did a summer reading, but we also cooked for the kids. In August, as you remember, was the first kickoff event is National Night Out, which I thought was a pretty good success. We also participate in Ogilvy Challenge, which is a Cardinal Academy event, and that will continuously happen at the date that Officer Ogilvy of Covington was killed in the line of duty. We always do a challenge at Cardinal in memory of him. DMV traffic enforcement, Triad, as you all know, we're a big part of Triad, where Officer Holland is the programs manager for the program, the seniors program. So he does that throughout the month, several times in 1 month. For September, we participated with the Town of Vinton and Career Quest, senior luncheon with the New Vision Pioneer Group at the Senior Center, and of course, DMV traffic enforcement, Triad, Friendship Manor, and CTAC as well. training that the staff attended was July was TASER. Apologize for the misspelling. TASER recertification. August, officers attended READ interview technique school, along with officer-involved shooting investigation school. In September, we had Officer Holland attend school resource officer. While we don't have a full-fledged SRO into our schools, because it is a Roanoke County responsibility, we do supplement our 2 schools here and maintain presence, and we want to make sure that that officer has the education and proper schooling. We also send officers to impaired driving training, INTOX ECRR, which is the certification that you need in order to be able to run an intoxilizer to determine the breath alcohol of a person that is impaired. And we had Detective Sergeant Bailey attend forensic science retraining. As you know, Vice Mayor, you have to continuously attend a retraining once you attend the forensic science school. If training is continuous, and in this case, once a year, he'll meet up with his class and kind of go over new material as far as forensic science goes. Grant opportunities was the 3 biggest components was DMV overtime grant, which is always continuous for us. It runs federally October to September. So naturally, that fiscal year just started here in October. We also were awarded the ARPA LE grant, along with the LOLE block grant. And there will be a little bit more to that, but all 3 of those grants are currently active as we speak, and we're operating in some projects regarding them. And here's some of there'll be a much more in-depth briefing on our next quarter because it's sort of a grant that's in progress, but I at least wanted to highlight what we've done so far. The ARPA LE grant program, the base of it was for officer wellness resiliency, along with complementing a police department's operational readiness in terms of violent crime. So we were able to do a lot of things that through the grant, so we wouldn't have to sacrifice operational budget. We were able to do shotgun conversions, and what that is making some shotguns that we have into less lethal beanbag shotguns. We were able to complement our recent change of our service weapon, our Glock weapons, and purchase our holsters with it. They're actually quite pricey, so the grant really helped out with the purchase of those holsters to include supplemental sights and lighting for both the service rifle and the service rifle. We're able to increase operational readiness in the terms of riot gear, where the police department had riot gear, but we're able to put a full complement to where each officer will have an individual assigned suit for in the case they need a riot gear. We obviously hope these things will always gather dust at the police department, but that doesn't remove the aspect where we have to be operationally ready for anything. We're able to invest in TrueNarc, which TrueNarc is a very good piece of equipment that tests dangerous substances. Traditionally, you would put things in a vial and it has a chemical reaction, whereas TrueNarc, it removes the component where an officer might get exposed to a narcotic or something that might hurt them. And TrueNarc identifies it through a much less invasive means, so an officer safety tool. In addition to that, we're able to purchase a Star City Task Force vehicle. As you know, we have an officer in our Star City Task Force, which is a multi-jurisdictional task force. With that, we have to give them a car to drive and a car that's not a police car. So we're able to apply the grant and purchase a vehicle for them. In addition to that, in order to build officer resiliency in the terms of physical fitness, we were blessed enough to have a little area for us to build a fitness facility for the Vinton Police Department and Town of Vinton as well. So we're working on building a fitness facility. More to come on that. That's kind of a work in progress as we speak, but a place where officers can work out and maintain health. In addition to that, we have Officer Dibble here. Officer Dibble created a card that I'm sure many of you have seen or in the illustrations. I'll actually call you up here, Officer Dibble, if you come up. Officer Dibble designed this car. Traditionally, the Vinton Police Department assigns one police car to a military service veteran. Prior to Officer Jesse Dibble was Officer Brandon Alterio. So naturally, when Officer Dibble got his car, we retired Officer Alterio, and Officer Jesse Dibble designed this car, spent a lot of time on it, but he took it a step further where not only did he design it, but he really wanted to create awareness. And how you create awareness is obviously you illustrate it and you talk about it. In this case, tough to see on the picture, picture, but you see a lot of informational as far as the Veteran Crisis Hotline and how to do outreach as far as suicide prevention for our military service members. But we really wanted to be a beacon and expand that and show our military service members that we love them, appreciate them, and we're always thinking about them. Car completely designed by Officer Jesse Dibble, and it came out fantastic. Upcoming events. So I just put October down because we have 3 events in one day. We have a Bedford car show at the town of Bedford, and that car show is to benefit the Special Olympics. We'll enter Officer Dibble's car into the competition. We'll probably win. And then
Okay.
all the proceeds, it's done. I don't even know why they're having it.
You've already won. You've already won.
Of course, if you guys are in the area, you want to attend, there's a multitude of law enforcement agencies with all their nice cars and equipment there. That's on October the 28th, 2023 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'll be there as well. But it's really neat to see. It's really cool to see all the police cars and the best one there, guarantee it. During that same time, Officer Holland will be doing Drug Take Back, which is a huge event that produces huge results, and that will be at 915 Hardy Road at Kroger. Again, from 10 to 2, 915 Hardy Road. All these events are for October 28th. And of course, we'll be assisting the town of Vinton, specifically Miss Antonia, on the town of Vinton's shredding event, which turned out to be a huge success where we had to do it twice. So we'll be there as well, 3 events. And the last event, I'm going to turn it over to Officer Jesse Dibble because this is his event and I'm quite excited about it. So Officer Jesse Dibble, this is your slide.
Thanks, sir.
All right.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. So not only have I had the opportunity and the privilege to work here for the town, being a veteran, I've joined up with a veteran friend of mine who's medically retired. 5 years ago, we started Queen City Rucking. Queen City Rucking, we want to incorporate our veterans, first responders, and kind of get them along, get them together, do some fellowship. So we started rucking events. Rucking events is kind of a military term where you basically fill a pack full of heavy stuff and you just go that way until you're told to turn around and come back. And you just don't ask, you just go and come back. So what we've done, we use it as a building tool. And rucking is actually a great resistance cardio. It's much better than running. I hate running. I only run if somebody has warrants or there's cheesecake. So this is much better cardio-wise as well. But on November 11th, Veterans Day of this year, at the War Memorial, we're going to start at the War Memorial at 8. We're going to meet up, and we are going to try and get our boots off the ground at 9. So at 9 o'clock, we're going to do a 5-mile ruck course through the entire town of Benton. We're going to try and hit the greenways. We're going to try and come through town, hit the municipal building, hit Rosie's. Rosie's is actually one of our sponsors because about 6 months ago, we applied for a grant through them, and I have confirmation, and I believe they're going to be able to donate $5,000 for us.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
that money goes towards veterans and first responders to Boulder Crest Foundation. I've chosen them, and the chief has been fortunate enough to go up and visit their campus. Boulder Crest uses a program. They take, I knew I'd forget it, but I've got it on my phone. They transform struggle into strength, and that's their biggest push. Is they want to triumph over struggles, and they want to bring everybody up. The biggest part of Boulder Crest is not only will they bring us in as veterans and us as first responders in, they also bring in the families. And this is completely free of charge to veterans, first responders. You just have to register for it, get into one of the classes. They will educate us, and then they bring in the families so they know what to look for and how to help more than just stand back and worry.
Wow.
So November 11th.
Cool.
Say again.
That's cool.
Yeah, Boulder Crest is a great program.
Right.
If anybody would like to sign up, we're going to start pushing the campaign here real soon, but if they could just go to the Run Sign Up page, runsignup.com, just type in Vinton, and it should be the very first event that comes up.
Wow.
What
Very
we're going to do
nice.
is we'll advertise on social media. There'll be the event link to sign up in order to promote this event and sign up, of course, to participate. And hopefully all of us do participate. But yes, to emphasize on Boulder Crest, it's an exceptional organization where they've sort of picked up the PTSD that some of our military service members, of course, first responders develop and have turned it into post-traumatic growth. And how they do that is through resiliency programs. And they also have they have a retreat area. I was in Bluemont, Virginia, where you as a first responder or military service member, you can register online if there's vacancy, and you can stay up to 7 days for free in these beautiful cabins that look like cabins in Pigeon Forge for free to decompress. And Boulder Crest does that free of charge for law enforcement, military service members, and that's something we want to capture here in Vinton and really emphasize for all of law enforcement. And I couldn't be more proud that Queen City Rucking is representing that. Not only that, but tying into the town of Vinton and some of our local area businesses. So yeah, I say all that, say this, put a pillow in your pack, you won't know the difference, and let's go rucking.
That's awesome.
Any questions about anything? I know I threw a lot out there.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the time. Thank you for allowing us to present. Yes, sir.
I do have one or two quick comments or questions you
Of
might
course.
say. First of all, I'm always curious to see how many of these security watches we have done. I think it was 735. I think that's really a great service. I think that helps keep our town safe and peaceful. So I'm really happy that our department has the time to do that.
We really put an emphasis on that. That really started growing last year, especially with school security checks.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can be done, especially at night when things tend to get slower, and we can be proactive and check on our businesses, check on people.
Right.
Folks notice. I get a lot of pleasant emails and phone calls about them noticing officers just checking door handles at 4 a.m. Folks are up at that time of day and they notice it. Now it's very heartwarming to know that people are seeing us out there at such crazy hours of the day.
Yeah.
So much value to security checks.
That's really awesome. And I thought the number was, getting larger.
That's just for the quarter.
Yeah,
that's
right.
That's a lot of premises checks.
Yeah, you bet. One or two other things just quickly. You mentioned some of the community activities, a whole lot of them. I think that's awesome. Really glad to see that you folks can do that. That's really important. So thank you, Chief and officers, for doing that. That's
Thank you,
that's
Mr.
really
Mayor.
good. One thing you mentioned, wildlife. You said that I guess you send referrals to Virginia Wildlife Services, but now is that a company that our citizens can call direct if they'd like?
I don't have the number. I guess we can advertise for it at the conclusion of the meeting, but it is a 1-800 number you can call.
Okay.
In addition to that, there will be a decrease in animal services because our animal shelter is going through a little bit of exposure.
Yeah.
And the neighboring animal shelters are going through staffing. So there's going to be limited services and the capacity of what we can do as law enforcement because we have to take the animals somewhere. In this case, we're very limited. We spoke to one organization that's going to accommodate our community needs when it's serious enough. But for the time being, we'll have to let the SPCA kind of take care of what's going on over there as far as exposure goes.
Okay. Good.
And last but not least, of course, I'd like to thank Ms. Carey and Ms. Erin, who are here from Radford University. They're going through their master's program for social work. So I had the pleasure of being interviewed by them. Tough questions, but we had a great time. Carrie, if you don't know, Carrie used to be an employee here. She used to be a dispatcher here 10 years ago or so.
7 years ago.
Yep, so it was really cool getting to know them, and they're here, of course, to see how a functioning local body works.
I see him writing something down, I'm gonna worry.
Thank you, Chief. We appreciate it. And by the way, ladies, thank you for being here. We are honored that you come to check us out, and hopefully we'll perform up to your standards. Hope you get an A, by the way. All right, Chief, thanks again. A really great presentation. We appreciate the information. Thank you, sir. Okay. Where are we? Public hearings are next, right?
Yes, sir.
And our public hearing for this evening is concerning the lease to the Vinton Historical Society. So I will officially open the public hearing, and we'll start with a report from the staff. Chastity, you're up. It's all yours.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Anything fancy like that, though. That was a good report there.
Oh,
I got the History Museum at least.
Impressive presentation.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Thanks for having me tonight. So a couple weeks ago, I was up here asking for the lease agreement for the History Museum. I gave y'all a couple edits. I'll go over a couple of those just for us to really get back on track and get the lease back true to date. So the town of Benton will maintain the major operating systems to include HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. We also provide the routine exterior maintenance to the roof, windows, walls, and doors. We provide all the utilities, and also our public works provides all of the ground maintenance. So shout out to Andrew and his crew because they've been holding it down all season and they've done a great job. And Toby and Andrew's crew has helped the History Museum with all of their yard sales, setting up all the tables. Like they have really went the extra mile. So I appreciate them for that. So basically I'm just here tonight for any public. Well, I'm just kidding. And then for the approval for the History Museum's lease from council so the town manager can sign off on it.
Okay.
If you have any questions, I will try to answer them as much as I can.
Okay. Thank you very much. And at this time, we will receive any public comments. Okay, council, move on to your part of it. Any discussion or questions for Chastity? No? All right. We let you off easy this time.
I like it. I like it.
Thank you, Chastity.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too. We'll officially close the public hearing and take action. Council, you have before you a resolution that would authorize the town manager to execute a lease with the Benton Historical Society for the property located at 210 East Jackson Avenue.
I'll so move the resolution.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice Mayor Stovall, second by Councilmember Mullins. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles, Councilmember McCarty,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. And obviously it passes. So, council, thank you for that. We do have a couple other items that we want to consider for action this evening, and I think Marshall is going to give us some information on the redevelopment of the Red Jasmine restaurant building. I guess we'll have quit calling it Red Jasmine, right?
Yeah, gotta stop calling it Red Jasmine because we've got something else going in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. I'm here tonight to discuss the performance agreement between the town of Benton, Roanoke County Economic Development Authority, and Taco Rita Inc. We have the owner, Sergio Arellano, here tonight. He's going to talk about the project a little bit. Once I'm done speaking, I'll just kind of give some information about the agreement. So in total, Sergio plans to invest at least $100,000 into the former Red Jasmine property to redevelop it into a 2,000 square foot full-service restaurant. That will be at 210 South Pollard Street. The town of Benton is planning to invest $25,000 into this project to help out Mr. Arellano with his sanitary sewer system. That's kind of a hitch in the get-up for him to develop. It's going to be a public need since it's servicing the property and not just the business. So we're prepared to invest the $25,000 into that for his business. We're going to help close the gap to development. He's been very patient in waiting during this process, during the fire property process. So we want to thank him for his support and his patience, and we want to help him get his business opened up and have more business opportunities in the town. So that's just a quick overview of the performance agreement. If there's any questions that anyone has, we have the agreement in front of y'all for you to reference, but if you have any questions while I'm here, happy to answer.
Okay. Thank you, Marshall. Council, you have any questions, comments? No? All right, thank you, sir.
And I'd like to invite Sergio up here if you'd like to just talk about the project.
Awesome. Sounds good.
How you doing, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council?
Hi.
Yes, I'm excited to come into town of Benton. I've looked for a location for quite some time. I grew up in Roanoke, and we've been in the restaurant business for quite a while. I think Benton needs a taco tradition, authentic food, and it's what I want to bring to the town of Benton. And hopefully more ideas can come out of that one location.
Awesome. I think you told me you're father or grandfather had the first Mexican?
My grandfather opened the first Mexican restaurant here in Roanoke in 86.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool. A lot of tradition there.
Yeah.
A lot of experience, right?
Yeah, third generation.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we look forward to having you in town.
I look forward to being in town as well.
Bring it on. Thank you, sir. Okay, council, you have before you a resolution that would authorize the town manager to execute the performance agreement that you've heard Marshall describe this evening.
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember McCarty, a motion by Councilmember McCarty, a second by Councilmember Mullins. Please call the roll, Antonio.
Councilmember Lyles. Councilmember McCarty.
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall.
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. I just did that, see if you were on your feet.
I'm excited about that one.
Yes, me too.
I've been waiting and I know, bless your heart. Thank you for your patience.
Well, I think the one other thing that's really going to benefit you is that naturally something that actually Marshall and I were talking about before the council meeting is about the walkability for downtown. So naturally, we have Mexican restaurants in the town, but you have to quote unquote drive to those. But yours, I think, is going to be beneficial to the fact that, once again, not to be repetitious, but the walkability, you know, especially once the corner gets developed, like we think it may possibly will get developed, and then people downtown, mingles and all those different things. So yeah, I think it's going to work well for you. I really do.
Yeah. I certainly agree. It's part of our growing and revitalization of downtown. So welcome. And Marshall, thank you for the presentation. Nice job. Okay, and with that, we'll move on to the second item. I think Nathan's going to handle this, and this is concerning a contract with TRC, right?
Sir, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Before we use a resolution that would authorize the town manager to execute a contract with TRC companies for environmental consulting services to assist with the administration of the $500,000 community-wide brownfield assessments grant from the U.S. EPA. So this is the same grant program that we were awarded previously for $300,000. For this grant cycle, it's $500,000. We issued an RFP and 2 companies responded. So we went through the RFP process, and after reviewing proposals and having an interview panel, we decided on TRC companies. TRC companies acquired Draper Aden, so we're actually going to be working with the same Draper Aden staff that we have been working with for many years. So we look forward to working with them. Some of the tasks they'll be doing with this grant and with this contract would include administering the grant itself and all the intricacies of the budgeting, reporting, conducting environmental assessments, which we've done on many properties in the town using the last grant, preparing conceptual site plans, establishing marketing materials, and also assisting the coordination of a steering committee within the town that's made up of citizens and business owners and other representatives. One difference with this new round of funding, previously the idea of conceptual site plans was very limited, so you could do really rough planning designs and sketches, but the EPA has expanded so we can use the money to do a lot more site planning. We could do structural assessments, engineering reports. They've really made it a lot more flexible in that category. We already have projects built into the work plan that were included in the grant application that can be directed towards targeted projects for this money, including the Gish Mill structural assessment, the McClung property building, having that environmental assessments completed, and also the downtown fire block, having that assessed for environmental conditions. December 5th, you'll be presented on some of the major successes and milestones of the previous EPA grant. But just to highlight how useful this grant has been to the town, the previous community-wide brownfield grant was used to do environmental assessments on the hotel site and dry cleaners, the Cleveland Mart project, which is now in the process of being redeveloped into apartments and a mixed-use project, the Gish Mill, the landfill site, former Steve's Auto Garage, which became which helped with phase 2 for VDOT and clearing those hurdles, and a plethora of other sites. And we'll highlight those on December 5th with Draper Aiden Consultants, talking about the past 3 years of managing that grant. So we have 5 years to complete this grant, $500,000. And there's projects that have been identified, but we can change our priorities over time as new properties arise. Depending on your questions, that's what I have for tonight.
Wow. Thank you, Nathan.
That's awesome.
Council, any comments?
Good.
Question?
Good job.
Yeah, I'd like to say,
Grants.
yeah, good job. Exactly.
You guys are on fire.
Right. It's awesome. Appreciate the report. Great report. Good job. This is, to me, this is a big deal for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's a lot of money. So, as you mentioned, good job. We appreciate the work the staff does to get these grants. And this is just an example of how our staff is working so efficiently to help develop our town. By getting this grant, we can identify areas that may have issues, and we can obviously help improve the sites and all that. And very often people will ask me, they used to would ask, well, what are you guys doing to help economic development? Now they say, man, economic development is going great. What have y'all done? Well, this is a great example, because if I understand this correctly, and you guys please correct me if I get off track, but very often if a site has problems, we can help them identify those problems with what they call phase 1 and all that good stuff. And that eliminates some of that big expense and issues that a small company might have up front, and therefore helps economic development. And I just think this is awesome. And am I off track?
You're exactly right. For a development or redevelopment project, a bank typically won't even give someone a loan until these environmental assessments are done. So for the town to take on that burden of going ahead and getting these really step 1 tasks done, it really helps with moving a project forward.
Right. And, it's one of those things. It's not like people are going to see our trucks out there or anything like that, but you guys are doing a lot of work, and anyone who wants to know why the planning department exists, they should see this grant, right?
Right, and that just shows how each department is working together for economic development and for growing our town.
Absolutely.
Exactly right. So this is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Big deal.
And I will say with this grant, this is one of the few that involves multiple departments. Obviously we all work together on multiple things, but with this grant and the execution of it, it involves multiple town departments and town staff. So but we all work together on this one especially.
Right. Awesome. Well, I think it's awesome. It's certainly community development, economic development, and I'm not surprised at all to hear that a lot of teamwork went into that. So, good job, guys.
Thank you.
Way to go. Right. Did I miss any of it? No. Good job. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll just add, we do have a press release that will be issued next week.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure Debbie was aware to anticipate that. We'll have some more explanation of some of the grant details. And as Nathan did mention, TRC will be here December 5th to do an extensive report on the previous grant as well as what we anticipate targeting for the future grant.
Right. Now, I do want to make sure I understand one thing. You mentioned 5 years, so some of the projects we do could extend out that long. Is that right? Or
it's just that we have 5 years to spend the $500,000.
Oh, okay.
So, and not anticipated that projects will take that long, but for example, the $300,000 grant, we had 3 years. We actually got a year extension because of COVID. But that's the time frame you have to work with. And even for that one, we had to request a 6-month extension. We used some of the EPA funds to leverage a state VBAF, Virginia Brownfields Assessment Fund grant. So we kind of leveraged the federal with state, and because of the time frame to actually get that work done, and that was some additional follow-up work on the dry cleaner site, we had to request an additional 6-month extension from EPA, which they granted. So try to maximize those funds best we can.
You guys are awesome. Way to go. Good job. Just blows me away. And I'm really excited about it. Oh, I guess we better take some official action then. Council, you have before you a resolution that would authorize town manager to execute the contract with TRC's company for the $500,000 grant we just discussed.
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Mullins, second by Councilmember McCarty. Antonio, please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles, Councilmember McCarty,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. You betcha. Jeremy, always good to see you. I don't see anything listed. I guess that's a good thing, huh?
Usually a good thing.
Yeah.
I've worked on a couple of the agreements you've had here this evening, Mr. Mayor, and maybe one you'll see later tonight, but
Yeah. Okay, well,
nothing major going on right now.
good. Thank you, sir. And that's, Jeremy's just like a lot of folks on our staff that do a lot of work in the background that doesn't necessarily show up, but we appreciate your hard work.
And we had a productive meeting with Nathan and Pete earlier tonight, earlier this evening. So.
Cool, very cool. Right. And as always, got a spiffy tie. Mr. Town Manager, it's your turn.
I just have a couple quick updates, Mr. Mayor. Wanted to highlight a couple of paving projects that are upcoming. We've had some restriping projects on Cleveland and Gus Nicks recently. Speed reduction on Gus Nicks. Want to pass along our appreciation for the citizens and our visitors, commuters coming through town for recognizing those speed reductions. And traffic is noticeably slower, so I think the process has worked out well. But in regards to upcoming paving, this is all tentative based on weather and contractor availability, not only weather here, but where the contractor currently is. Sometimes they get delayed because of weather. But if everything plans out accordingly, we'll be doing some paving at the farmers market next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So there's some of the parking lot directly behind the post office and the alleyway that connects behind the farmers market to Lee. Those will be milled and repaved. I don't know the last time those properties were paved and restriped, so we're excited about getting all that dressed up on the public side. And then shortly thereafter, we will close the farmers market lot for a day or so and reseal and restripe that. So all of that area behind the post office, Twin Creeks, Pollard 107, and all of the public infrastructure there will be repaved. As soon as they finish that, so approximately Wednesday or Thursday next week, they will then move down to Walnut Avenue on phase 1. So Walnut Avenue is when we did the off-street pedestrian and bike accommodations, greenway connectivity along from the town limits to Fifth Street. We've been waiting on contractors to complete their work before we actually did the paving and restriping, so we're ready for that. And that should come on the tail end of next week. There will be some flaggers in the area during that paving. They'll have, one lane closed down to mill and pave, and they'll flip over and do the other lane. And then within a couple of days following, they'll have it restriped. So that project will be completed. I think you can notice, you have noticed on phase 2, which is from First Street to Lee Avenue, how well that looks. So new pavement, new striping. Those are off-street accommodations. So we're anxious to get that done on phase 1.
Yeah.
So just wanted to let everybody know about those slight inconveniences for a couple of days, but it is, for the betterment of the road and the parking services. And we do have the new parking lot, which is directly behind the farmers market stage. That will get underway in December. So we are building another 80 plus public parking spaces that will help support events and businesses that are on this side of South Pollard. So excited about that.
That's awesome.
Those are just the most pressing announcements for this council meeting.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I guess eventually phase 1 will look approximately like that section of phase 2 then.
Yeah. As it's identified as being phase 1, that should have been completed early before phase 2, but just kind of got off track.
1, 2, 2, 1. Yeah, look at that.
It was a bigger, more complicated project, to be fair, but we're getting near the end, and we won't have to touch that section for quite some time. So
awesome.
paving coming soon. And we do have some neighborhood paving. We have a pretty extensive neighborhood paving list. As soon as they finish Walnut, they're going to, as long as the weather cooperates, they'll navigate over to several of our neighborhoods to do some much needed paving in our neighborhood. So we're getting a lot of attention and our people live and reside. So that's coming as soon as we have more details on what roads will be specifically targeted or affected, and we'll communicate that to the best of our ability.
Cool. Very good. Very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right. Was there anything else, or is that? I guess that's it. Okay. Reports from the committees. Mr. King, you're going to do the finance report?
Yes, sir. So good evening, Mayor.
By the way, I love the committee meeting.
Oh, well, good deal. I'm glad. I strive for that. So we're going to be taking a look at July and August of this year, first 2 months of the FY24 fiscal year. There's a lot going on in the finance department, so excited to be able to chat a little bit about that. First and foremost, our major revenue streams are all performing better than average as they have been for some time. Our sales tax is performing at about $12,000 a month on average, better than we had budgeted. Meals tax up at $20,000 a month over budget. Cigarette sales $3,500 a month over average on budget, and parimutuel or Rosie's is doing about $8,000 a month over what we had budgeted. So revenue seems to be in check and moving forward much better than we had anticipated in the budget, which is exciting. We are maintaining about $14 million in total cash right now, which has got to be a high, I would imagine. $5 million of that's in operational cash, and $9 million, a little over $9 million, is in investment funding. Pursuing interest. So one thing that I like to point out always is, just because we've got this money in reserve doesn't mean that we're, holding it or not actively using it. So we are pursuing projects just as quickly as staff availability and contractor availability allow. But that being said, it is as good a time of any to have that money in high interest bearing accounts. And we are doing our best to collect on interest so that we can add to our ability to work on projects in the town. We're earning on average about $50,000 a month in interest on those accounts, which is just incredible. We're diversified across 3 banks, and each of them are working really hard to give us really impressive rates and allow us some awesome return on those funds. So again, that money is rolling back into our capital project reserves and allows us to, continue to pursue other projects as they present themselves. As far as the ARPA funding goes, we fully expended that in the month of July, about a little over a year ahead of time from when it was meant to be completely expended. So the majority of that went to facilitate the water authority transfer, and then a chunk of it went to a new software system that we're implementing across the town as far as finance software goes, and then a portion of it was covered revenue replacement as well. The financial software that we're pursuing, or that we actually went live with in July, is a system that Roanoke County also uses. It's a Tyler Munis system, and we've used a portion of that in our tax system for a period of time, but it has now replaced our ACS system, which was our major financial software system, and we'll now be able to house everything in one more powerful, user-friendly software. So we're excited about that. Again, that went live in July. We're actually undergoing staff training right now. We've got a rep in from Maine that is going to be working with us through Thursday of this week on training our non-finance staff. So we're excited to get that off the ground, and it's something the town's been working on for some time prior to my being here. We received our first of 3 Western Virginia Water Authority payments, which was exciting. We received that in July. So now that we made those initial payments up front with ARPA funds, we're now on the receiving end of that agreement. So that's good. And we solidified our 2024 calendar year schedule for the Finance Committee meetings. So that's going to be the same as it has been for the last several years. It'll be the Monday in between council meetings. Yeah, do you guys have any questions? We got a lot going on in finance, and everything is going as well and better than we can anticipate. So,
Well, since Keith isn't here, I'm going to say, are we still debt-free?
as in that, but as Cody likes to point out, we are, but because of how well we're doing, we're able to take on debt when y'all are ready. So,
Yeah, wow, great report, and seriously, the finance committee meeting is really interesting, and since I've been on it, it's really even after all these years, giving me a new understanding of a lot of the details. And Mike, I gotta say, my partner on the finance committee, he does a great job. He's used to all those big budgets from, I guess, your days on the school board. So they're kind of bringing me along. And,
Well, I think as we said, as we said yesterday, the fact of doing what the taxpayers ask us to do.
Yeah.
And that's manage their money well.
Yeah.
He is correct. We have had the banks to step up, which has really helped us. We do have that cash on hand for a rainy day fund. We don't know, naturally you can't ever project what the economy is going to do, but, I think and I heard at the VML in one of the sessions that I went to, which was spot on for the town of Benton was that the person talked about diversifying, of course, and not having one or even two main sources of revenue. Try to have more than those. And, I think we're at 5 or 6. And I mean that, that's what they were, that they kept going on and said, if you've got 4 or 5, then you're actually, you're definitely in the game well. So that says a lot for y'all. So naturally, thank you.
good job, as always, yeah.
thank you all.
So, council, we do need to take action on the financial statements for July 30 and August 31st.
Also move those.
Okay.
Second.
Hey, motion by.
It's July 31st and August 31st. I apologize.
Okay. Thank you for the correction then, July 31st. All right, so we have a motion by Vice Mayor Stovall, second by Councilmember Mullins. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, another report. Nathan, you're doing double duty tonight, right? Hope this one was as good as the last one.
Good evening again. So I'm going to just cover items that we discussed during the community development committee meeting for October. So we covered the sewer line incentive for Taquarita. Marshall discussed about that earlier. We talked about the downtown fire block. The town continues to work with the property owners in that property. And as mentioned, the ZPA and Brownfield grant monies can be used to analyze the sites. So, for future financial ventures, having this phase 1 and phase 2 assessments will be helpful when knowing what the conditions are or what prior conditions are at the site. We learned through actually one of the presentations that we had on the brownfield sites that even if there is a property that's been damaged by a fire, it doesn't preclude it from being able to see what the prior history for environmental conditions are. So it is more complex, but it's not impossible. It's still possible to analyze a site even if it's been damaged by a fire. We also discussed the hotel development project. So DPC Hospitality in Houston, Texas will be doing a supplemental market study. We previously used AECOM to conduct conceptual renderings and site plans for the property, for what it could look like, and true site plan according to the town zoning ordinance that follows the specs for height and setbacks, parking, and gave an idea about what it could look like on the corner of South Pollard and West Virginia Avenue. And also, we're contracting with Eddie Alexander for to develop a marketing brochure for that project in terms of finding an investment partner for that. It's still right now the goal to design it in such a way that it would have approximately 180 rooms. That's the most, in terms of economies of scale, that's the most feasible way to design the hotel. We discussed the HSIP and SGR grant applications. Those are VDOT programs. So HSIP is the Highway Safety Improvement Program that has to do mostly with pedestrian improvement, pedestrian safety improvements. We're going to be applying for a grant on October 31st for curb ramp improvements, crosswalks, and other pedestrian improvements from the PFG intersection light on West Virginia Avenue all the way to the intersection of South Pollard and West Virginia, and then down South Pollard to the Cleveland Avenue intersection. And so with those, there'll be remedies that include, like as mentioned, the curb ramps at the intersections, similar to what we did at Washington Avenue and Pollard and Hardy Road and Vineyard, having the push buttons and countdown signals. So for three intersections, which would be South Pollard, West Virginia Avenue, the 3rd Street light, and then the PFG light as well. So we're under contract right now with AECom to help us develop that VDOT application for HSIP. And then additionally, along that same route, but extending from the town limits on West Virginia to East Virginia to all the way to where Niagara Road begins. We're also applying for SGR funds. That stands for Stated Good Repair, and that's VDOT supplemental funding for paving. So it offsets the cost of paving that road, and so we're applying for both HSIP and SGR, and those grants kind of the project areas overlap, but the SGR extends further down towards East Virginia Avenue towards Niagara Road. We covered the Brownfield grant, and Fagula Gordon, our associate planner with the town, discussed the tree inventory grant that was awarded from Virginia Department of Forestry. So it's a full-scale inventory of street trees that are in like our public medians and on public property. Over 450 trees were tagged and identified for like their health, their species, the condition, whether they're from dead all the way to like perfect health and how mature they are. One cool thing they also did, and we used a consultant to complete the work. They also, for each tree in the town, they assigned an economic value to each tree. And so further analysis to come soon on that, but we wanted to further expand on how much total the trees within the public lands. It's not every tree, obviously, but trees that were obviously affirmatively planted either through Arbor Day grant fundings or some kind of park initiatives in the past or in our medians. Those were accounted for and identified, but all these factors and characteristics will help with the long-term management of these trees, especially as things like Arbor Day come up or any other projects like the park project, and general maintenance of our facilities and our public infrastructure. And then finally, we talked about the multi-generational park at the War Memorial property. A project update on that. We got a VOF grant to help with the funding of that project, and we've received the survey plat that we've hired a contractor to complete, or hired an engineering firm to complete. And so we're going through first reviews of that right now. So we get to subdivide the War Memorial existing parcel into two parcels so that the secondary parcel that will become the park will be dedicated as open space indefinitely. So the plat's been completed. There's a few revisions that need to be done. No plat is perfect on its first review, but after that's completed, we hope to get the deed recorded, and then we can move forward with getting that funding from VOF it can be used towards the park project. So that was our updates for the CDC meetings.
Wow. You guys have been busy, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It might not be the most important of what you said, the whole committee, but that tree inventory is fascinating to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I love that.
Yeah,
I knew you would be. While I was there, I was thinking, oh, Lori be eating this. They got them in color coded. Which ones are dead? Which ones?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you also. It's all available.
Okay,
Take a
cool.
look through it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
that is intriguing.
And I'll just interject real quick on the tree inventory. With the trees, it was 9 trees that were identified as dead. So we have already directed Public Works to remove those as a safety hazard. So good collaboration between the departments and ensuring public safety and getting those trees removed and hopefully replanted with something better and healthier in the future.
Excellent. I love
Very
that.
good, very good. Awesome, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Good.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. All right. Okay, council, I guess it's your turn. Vice Mayor, you have anything further this evening?
I once again just want to reiterate, I know you received, we received an email, but for the playground, on behalf of those 54 students, I do thank you. The committee thanks you. That is October the 27th. The ribbons cutting's going to be October 27th at 2:30. Would love to have you there. We had a goal of 15,000 for the fence. Looks like that we have achieved that goal. Of course, with your help. And we have everything in line for everybody to show up on Wednesday and put it together for 3 days.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Very nice. Great. Thank you, sir, for that.
Thank you.
Right. Lori, you have anything further this evening?
I just want to say again how proud I am of our police department and the great leadership we have. And it's nice to see new officers and older officers, all of them here. You know, it's good to see that.
Yeah.
Supporting each other. And I want to say a shout out to the town staff who went above and beyond for me. I just sent out a little email just to request maybe a pin or a lanyard or something to send to a friend, a Williamsburg classmate who lives in Sweden. She's lived there for 30 years. And she has been going through some health issues, and we were going to send her a goodie box from home, just kind of a hug from Benton. And the staff really hooked me up, and we're going to get that sent. So we're excited about that.
Very nice.
And last thing, first game of the Rail Yard Dogs is Friday night.
Friday night. Doc is back.
That's right.
Sounds exciting, that's for sure. Thank you, Lori. Do you have anything further, ma'am?
I do. Tonight, I want to give my restaurant shout out to the Dogwood. I was able to go there for breakfast with several friends, and it was delicious as usual.
Yeah.
Want to say welcome to Down Home Creamery. I can't wait to go over and get some ice cream there. And I wanted to give a shout out to Miss Debbie for the Benton Messenger. I know this was September the 28th, but I did remember to bring it tonight. And for the employees of the town that went and participated with the Greater Roanoke Workforce Development at the Career Quest for the 7th graders. On the front page of the news, we have our very own Andrew teaching them how to write a check, which all bank people appreciate you.
Right, that's true. That's the truth.
Check is.
Right, that is a trick.
And here's Marshall with the economic development and teaching a student to build a local economy model. But as you go on back, then you see so many members of our staff. So that is so encouraging and rewarding. And for those people to know that we are with the town of Benton and we were there to help them out is a big, just a shout out to you guys and staff that was able to go to that. And then of course there's always has to be somebody back here working so these people can get out. So thank you for the folks that stayed back to work as well. But that's where I was going to say the reminder of the speed reduction, which town manager had already mentioned. Showing improvement, and I'm still having to think more, but I'm doing it.
It takes an effort. Yeah, it does. It does.
But that's all.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. I got just a couple of things I'd like to mention. I don't know if I have gotten a chance to mention the Fall Festival and to thank, of course, the Benton Area Chamber of Commerce and also our town staff that worked so hard to put that together. I know that takes a lot of work and everything, but it was quite successful this year. It was really good, really good. And I gotta say, the History Museum had quite a yard sale. Ooh, I shouldn't call it a yard sale, I guess, but anyhow, they had a lot of goodies out there. It was really nice. Also, a quick shout out to Janet Scheid, former town council member. She was selected as Volunteer of the Year by the Greenway Commission this year, so congratulations to her, and it's because of all of her hard work. Also wanted to thank Donna Collins. She's got this really neat program. I'm sure most of the staff has experienced it. If not, they will. A monthly birthday party. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really neat. Yeah. And just quick word of condolence to the family of a former council member. A lot of people here in town remember Roy McCarty. He served on town council for quite some time. Is quite a gentleman, that's for sure. And also, I'd like to mention we have a little project, or actually pretty good size project going on at the M.A. Banks Park. And this, Pete, you might want to expand on this a little. It's my understanding it's called the Lowe's Hero Program, and it's made up of volunteer/employees from Lowe's Home Improvement Company. Isn't that right?
Correct. Yes, sir. There are 5 Lowe's Home Improvements in Roanoke Valley that consolidate their resources to do a community service project each year, and they selected Benton. We're fortunate enough to not only get them this year, but they've committed to come back and do another project in Benton next year.
Oh, nice.
So we'll get the beneficiary of their in-kind labor, their materials, and some pretty talented staff, actually. So I forwarded some photos. I'll send them out to council. I'm sure Debbie will go back tomorrow and get some more photos. But they've done some nice improvements over there.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have them.
Yeah, that's great. And that's one of the parks in town that's really used a lot. So I'm sure they'll appreciate all the improvements over there. And I got to meet some of them this morning. It was a great bunch of folks, that's for sure, you know. And just like to thank staff in general. What a great council meeting to hear from all of our departments. Certainly, police department had a great report tonight, and planning department had a very exciting report. So I appreciate that. And as always, the finance department is working well, and we know the public works department stays busy too. But really makes for a great council meeting when you get those kinds of reports from the staff. So thank you guys for the continued hard work. You guys do a great job. I'll save the rest. Okay, I guess we'll move on to our closed sessions. This evening, we have a request to convene in closed session pursuant to 2.2-3711A1 of the 1950 Code of Virginia as amended for discussion of annual performance of the town manager. I guess we need a motion for that, right? Or can we do both of them?
You can do both.
Okay. Also, a request to convene in closed meeting pursuant to 2.2-3711A1 of the 1950 Code of Virginia as amended for discussion of the appointment of the town treasurer effective November 1st, 2023. Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
All right. We need a roll call on that. All in favor of the closed session, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, thank you.